I hereby reconvene the April 22nd, 2014 meeting of the Marion County School Board. Good evening. For the courtesy of those listening to the meeting, I'm requesting everyone in the audience, please turn off your cell phone or put them on vibrate. Ms. Jackie Ballas, K-12 Academic Service, and Ms. Holly Denton from Bellevue High School, please introduce the students who will be providing the inspiration and leading us in the pledge. Ms. Ballas. We will wait a minute. Okay. We're dealing with kids.
Well, good evening tonight. Okay, now you guys just wait just a minute and I'll call you guys up. Just wait right along the edge there. Sorry. Good evening. Tonight I am so proud to introduce some of the students who went to the State Science Fair on April 8th through the 10th in Lakeland, Florida, and did a wonderful job to represent Marion County. I'm very, very proud of our students. We're going to have two of our students do the inspiration and the pledge tonight. I picked one of our older students and one of our youngest students from the science fair to do that. So Ms. Holly Denton helps me with the science fair, and she will call up and introduce our first speaker.
So Brandon Williams is going to be our inspiration speaker tonight. And when I first met Brandon, he was a ninth grader and he wasn't my student yet, but he had been able to be the #1 math project at Bellevue High School, and so he got to go to the regional science fair, and he became a alternate at the state, and he told me at the time when I got him the next year in the 10th grade that he wanted to, you know, actually go all the way to state. And then he decided he actually wanted to revise that. He wanted to get all the way to the International Science Fair. So in the 10th grade, he worked really, really hard, and he actually managed to get all the way to International Science Fair. So, you know, if you set your goals and you work hard, you can achieve great things. And then when on the way back from International, he looked at me and he said, I don't know what I'm going to do for next year. I feel like I've peaked. And he said, and so he had to, you know, he had to go through a lot of thought about what he would do his project on this year, and I have him again this year in the advanced level of chemistry, and he got all the way to International again because he got another idea, and he worked really, really hard on it. And I have to say, he worked really hard on it. He even consulted a statistician up at the University of Florida to check all of his math for him because it's a statistics project. And I also want to say about Brandon before I bring him up that I've been teaching a really long time, 1 year in Mississippi and 34 years here. And he really is one of the most remarkable students that I've had in all of my teaching, and I feel very honored that I've had 2 years with him in the classroom. So Brandon, come up here and give us your inspiration, because he's an inspiration to me.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm in the 11th grade in Bellevue High School now. So I just want to start out by thanking Ms. Ballas and Ms. Den for putting this out for us every single year and giving us the appreciation that we need and allowing us to compete in the international, state, and regional science fair and putting it on every year. It means a lot to me that I am able to express myself. So I would like start off. I remember standing in front of my class in the 3rd grade, loathing my science fair project. All the other children were eating their snacks and staring at my project intensely. I took a big gulp and I started my presentation. I had a fear of actually speaking in front of people, but during that presentation, something happened. I actually enjoyed all the attention upon me. Science fair changed my life by allowing me to realize that I like to talk in front of a group of people. Now, despite popular belief, science fair is not full of nerds. but of people who show interest in their project and try to solve problems, from music theorem to discovering a cure for a new disease. Science fair is not what we all think about it when we hear the words. To be honest, I have never seen a baking soda volcano from the third grade all the way to my junior year. Science fair is not based solely on science, but rather your individualism and your integrity in this project that you undertake. It makes what is uniquely yours. For example, you could build a robot to help the disabled or senior citizens, discover a cure for malaria, or even a project showing the growth of gender equality in the Olympic Games. Science fair teaches you a lot of things outside the classroom and looks really good on a college resume. It shows the colleges that you went out and learned something on your own initiative rather than just the required work that you are assigned in school. Science fair is a great opportunity for current generation of scientists and researchers to pass upon their knowledge on us, the future, and maybe while we're collaborating with each other, maybe we might find something and solve a problem. That also, it is a great opportunity to intern in the field of opportunity that you are interested in pursuing. Well, going back to third grade, I was diagnosed with highly functioning autism. And through science fair, I was able to overcome and conquer my autism. I now realize that although my autism has given me many different challenges in life, it allows me to see things uniquely different than other people. It is also believed that Albert Einstein and Thomas Jefferson had the same condition, which gives me inspiration to pursue my discoveries in my project. Now, I cannot emphasize how much it means to me that science fair is put on by Ms. Den and Ms. Ballas every single year. To actually put up with us in their state, motel, and just international, and they're just two of the most amazing teachers that I've ever met. I would like to thank them for putting it on every single year, and I would like to encourage everyone to join science fair because it honestly allowed me to come out of my shell. It taught me marketable skills, and I was able to make some amazing friends locally and from around the world along the way. Thank you.
Brandon is an inspiration to us all, and is a wonderful student that I've enjoyed for the past 2 years getting to know. So now if one of our newest members to the Science Fair family would come forward, we have Ian Pietukowski, and he will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So Ian.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ian. You did a great job.
Ms. Ballas, do you? Go ahead.
No, I'm so proud of these students. We had a large Marion County coalition this year going to the science fair. I think this is one of our largest groups ever. Unfortunately, some of the students couldn't be here tonight because they're involved in other activities, but I do want to introduce the ones that are here tonight. So if my science fair students will come forward and stand right here and face the audience. And I'll introduce them to you. And Ms. Denton, if you'll help hand out the certificates. Okay, so we had, going to the science fair with us, we had Catherine Delker. And Catherine is from North Marion Middle School. She did a behavioral and social project, and she has her recognition ribbon with her that she received at the science fair. So we're very proud of our Catherine. Thelwell Lloyd is also from North Marion Middle School. He did a project in environmental science, and he received at the state honorable mention, which is like 5th place in the state. And for his first time at science fair, we're very proud of you too. We have a team, a brother, sister, and an additional member who couldn't be here tonight. We have Cassandra Mosley and Jake Mosley, and you guys have seen them here before. Their team member was Gabriella Sullivan, and they did an awesome environmental science project that when one of the regional judges judged their project at the regional fair, a very dear and great science teacher here, which many of you know, Gwen Peeler, she literally cried after judging their science fair project because she said everything that we've been teaching them in science, they applied in their project. So they're amazing students. And they received actually a second place at the State Science Fair. We were very, very pleased. There were over 60 projects in their category. So we are honored. We have Ian Pitakowski, and he's from Osceola Middle School. He did a very exciting project with flammable liquids in a jar and measuring different types of fuels. He already told me his idea, his dad shared his idea for next year, so we'll probably see Ian again because he's going to find a fuel source for an automobile that will be cheaper than our gasoline. So we're looking forward to that. I hope you can. Miss Denton, you'll have to help him with the paperwork. But Ian placed 4th place in the state, so we're very proud of him. We have a couple of students who couldn't be here tonight. Niantesh Reddy is also one of our international students, going to international, and he it was from Vanguard High School, and he had a recognition at the State Science Fair. Okay, Vincent Vaughns, you've seen here before, and actually Brandon mentioned his project in his inspiration tonight, because Vincent has developed a computer that will help elderly people and people with special needs he's done a continuation study for 2 years on how these robots can help them with emergency services and so forth. So Vincent's going far, and I hope that when I'm in those nursing homes that your robots will come and help me. It's not that far away. Brandon Williams is from Bellevue High School, and Brandon, of course, did our inspiration tonight, and he's one of our International Science Fair participants that will be going to Los Angeles with us. So, did I miss anyone? Did everybody get their certificates that are here? Okay, great. The people who were not able to attend tonight, I would like to mention, we had Kranti Ramala from Howard Middle, and he actually won a 3rd place at state with a physics project. And his dad actually had gone to the State Science Fair as a student here from Marion County. We also had Carlos Gonzalez from Dunellen Middle who attended, and Joshua Chang who attended from North Marion High, and I'll make sure they get their certificates to their school. So I'm very, very proud of all of these students. As I said, I think it was one of our best years in terms of number of students that we got to send to state, and just the regional science fair does encompass students from Levy and Sumter County, and they also did very well. We also had a homeschool student from Marion County who competed with us at state and actually received 1st place. So we're very proud of all of the students that went with us to Science Fair, and I hope to see you all back next year. Except maybe Vincent might be hard for you next year. But we're very proud of them. I've gotten to know them all, and we've just had a wonderful time. So thank you so much, students, for letting me take you to the wonderful competitions where you just shine. Mr. James, do you want to say anything, or anybody want to say anything?
Wait till they finish the picture.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll do the picture, and then we'll let more members talk.
Go guys, and 1, 2, 3, one more. 1, 2, 3. Anybody else?
Pictures, Paris?
This is the time.
Okay, any more pictures? We're good? Mr. James?
I just want, once again, Ms. Ballas, I just wanted to say hats off to you, because I know the name of this whole thing is competition. And when these young people go out and compete, not only through the state, nationally, it bring us the light of the world shining once again on our students. And I know we do it year after year, year after year, and year after year. And I hope one day we will recognize the fact that you need a bigger building for the science project.
Bigger building, 'cause I'd love to have more and more students come.
Okay, and again, it's one of these things where you have an opportunity to see our finest, and again, hats off to you. Ms. Stacy.
Mrs. Dallas, I want to thank you so much. I've known you for so many years. I've watched you just grow with the school system and all that you've done. When I was in school, I just always, when there's certain areas that just really impress you, the areas that I was terrible in myself, it just amazes me that students can even do this.
And they amaze me.
I
I
had
don't
a-
understand half their projects,
I,
to be honest.
I had a sister that could do this stuff. My science fair projects just look like this when I got done. And so it's just, and you go with the kids and year after year, and I want to thank you because you're a lot of the drive behind it all. And I know the students will always remember you.
Well, I
and
just
thank
wanna
you
make
for all
sure
that you
they
do.
get to go, and it's a fun experience for us all.
Well, I can tell them, I am so impressed with what you do because I could not do that when I was your age. And so I really am very impressed at what y'all have accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell.
But they made us very proud this year in Marion County, so thank you.
Ms. Ely? Oh, we got one more, Ms. Ely.
Yes.
One more thing, y'all had great projects. I would love to have seen them. I'm sorry that I missed them. But the two that I'm looking for, Vincent, your robots for older people, I might get to use those someday. And Ian, with your new fuel source, wow, that's gonna be great. Hopefully we'll see your name in bright lights as big inventors and making a change for the nation, for the world. And what you had said about set goals, work hard, achieve great things, that's a great motto and philosophy for all of you. I know you're going to make bigger and better things for all of us and for our world. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Amen.
much. We're very proud of them.
Okay.
You guys can go.
Okay. Give one us half a second. Okay, Mr. Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, with the exception of item PR6, which has been withdrawn entirely from the agenda, I recommend approval of the agenda for the April 22nd, 2014 school board meeting with the materials in the board packet, those materials distributed to board members at the meeting, the audio recording and DVD included as part of the official record of the meeting.
May I have a motion on the superintendent's recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Mrs. Ely, second by Mrs. Boynton. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the April 3rd, 2014 administrative briefing and work session, the April 3rd, 2014 special board meeting, the April 3rd, 2014 special leasing corporation meeting. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
It was motion by Ms. Ely, second by Mrs. Boynton. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Netti have been withdrawn. Okay, the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to adopt a proclamation recognizing May 6, 2014 as National Teacher Appreciation Day? May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Ms. Boynton, second by Mrs. Ely. Are there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's a little slow, George. Kevin Christian, Public Relations Officer and TV Media Production Coordinator, and Mr. Chris Altabalo, President of the MEA, please come forward for the reading and presentation of the proclamation.
Here we are again.
Yes, sir.
This proclamation is entitled National Teacher Appreciation Day and reads, whereas teachers make public schools great, whereas teachers work to open students' minds to ideas, knowledge, and dreams, whereas teachers keep American democracy alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship, whereas teachers fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors, and whereas teachers continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories. Now therefore, we, the members of the Marion County School Board and Superintendent, serving as the policy and decision makers for Marion County students, do hereby proclaim May 6th, 2014 as National Teacher Appreciation Day. We urge others to observe this day by taking time to recognize and acknowledge the impact of teachers on our lives. And of course, it's signed and dated by each of you with today's date, Mr. Altabalo, on behalf of all of our teachers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, Chairman James, and board members. On behalf of the Marion County professional educators, we thank you for this recognition. What makes this proclamation particularly important to Marion County public school teachers this year is that for the first time in many years, certainly in the 6 that I have been local association president, we actually have settled on a contract prior to receiving such proclamation. I want to thank the board, I want to thank the superintendent and district leadership for working with the MEA this year, and hope that this new trend will continue long into the future. National Teachers Day is a day set aside to recognize teachers across the country for their efforts in providing our children with a quality education. The Marion Education Association recognizes and congratulates our teachers, counselors, librarians, social workers, behavior specialists, psychologists, and district administrators, and everyone in between, for it takes the combined efforts of our entire district to ensure a great public school for each child. We also want to thank the public who value our profession and invite them to become active in our schools. I want to end, like I usually do every year, with a quote. And this year it's from the iconic businessman Lee Iacocca, who stated, "In a completely rational society, the best of us would be teachers, and the rest of us would have to settle for something less." Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Okay. Board. May I have a motion to adopt 2 new job classification and description, attorney, school board, and paralegal? May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Crawford and second by Mrs. Ely. Mr. Superintendent,
Mr. Chairman,
go ahead.
these job classification descriptions have been developed in order to comply with the board's directive to employ a full-time board attorney and support staff.
I declare a public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to address the revised job classification description?
Mr. Doug Oswald.
Mr. Aldo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Doug Oswald, sometimes known as Buddy Oswald. I reside at 4304 Southeast 5th Street, Ocala, Florida. And for those of you who don't know me, I am an attorney. I practiced law as a partner with the Ayers Cluster Law Firm for 18 years before becoming a teacher. And I've taught now, I've lost track, about 14 years here in Marion County. The board has taken a new direction with their relationship with their attorney. Ms. Morse has provided years of exemplary service to the board. But the board has decided to take a new direction, and it seems that there may be an opportunity here. And I wanted to share a couple of thoughts with the board as they were going through this process. The first is a somewhat technical matter, and I note from the job description that the scope of services described is very broad, all the way from what we used to call in our practice the office practice, contracts, real estate, business consulting, over to trial work. And even the trial work is not limited. The litigation includes hearings, trial work, and appellate practice. It would be rare, if not impossible, to find a single attorney in the state of Florida today that can competently represent their client on that broad a range of services. And so I would encourage the board to think realistically about what they expect from this position and what they hope that this attorney will be able to provide. The second area is in a broader scope, and that is to think about what is the role of the attorney in representing the school board. And in one sense, it's for the attorney to exercise their independent professional judgment in advising the board on the matter at hand. In the second sense, it's to help the board make good decisions, because the attorney is not the one that's going to be making these decisions. The attorney is not the one that's going to decide whether or not you go to trial. The attorney is not the one that's going to decide whether or not the employee is going to be disciplined. The attorney is not the one that's going to decide whether or not there's going to be a new school, or where the new school is going to be located, or whether or not we're going to sign the contract with this contractor. That's the board's decision. The attorney can only advise the board using their professional judgment on what they think is a good decision, and then the board has to make that decision. And when I look through this description, I see the language that implies that. Number 9, work collaboratively. Number 13, cooperate and consult. Number 3, number 14, demonstrate proactive leadership and effective management skills. 15, utilize appropriate strategies to make decisions. Number 19, represent the district in a positive and professional manner and demonstrate support for the school district and its goals and priorities. And under position qualifications, ability to communicate, ability to find solutions, to deal proactively with work-related problems. And when I see this, what it occurs to me is that this is a two-way street, that we all need to be able, each of us in the district, whether it's teachers, whether it's board members, whether it's a superintendent, we need to have all of these skills, and we need to exercise these skills in order to accomplish the goals for the district, which is the best interest of our children. And so the opportunity that it occurred to me is for this board and this district to take a different direction than we've taken in the last couple of years, and to have a different attitude with how we're going to approach these problems. Because the attorney, even though they're not going to make the decisions, if you have the right person, they can help you make those decisions.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Stacy?
I'd like to talk with you. There's not a lot of people that get me on the edge of my seat, but you do, because I so respect your wisdom. Before we make this decision, could I come and talk to you
Sure.
about things that might concern me? You've brought some great information, and I'm a strong believer in what King Solomon says. A wise person seeks wise counsel. I consider you to be very wise counsel in Marion County in many areas, as a teacher and in this area.
Well, and I would just offer one, I'd be glad to meet with you, Ms. Stacy, but I would offer one note of caution. Be very careful who you call wise, because a wise person's words are rarely questioned, and I would prefer to be questioned.
I think you're very wise, and I certainly wiser than me. And so, thank you so much for caring enough to come, and I will be down to talk with you if it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Board? Y'all call the question then?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The only thing that I have a concern with personally, because this is not my area of expertise, I'm a little concerned on the paralegal, the secretary's qualifications, where it requires that she has associates or a paralegal degree or something. The only thing about that is, we have a lot of experienced legal secretaries that have been working for a number of years. Does the board have any interest in possibly making a little flexibility there where, I would hate to lose a great applicant because maybe she's been a legal secretary for many, many years, but she never did get a degree in that field. Is there any reason we're insisting on that?
Okay, let me,
They have the answer.
Mr.
Go ahead,
I was
Superintendent.
gonna share under minimum training experience, it does mention associate paralegal degree, does mention minimum of 5 years, and it says, or an equivalent combination of education and experience.
I didn't understand how that would work out.
I
so-
believe that if you found someone that you're mentioning that perhaps has 15 years of experience without a degree, or if you found someone who has a degree but only 4 years
I
of
just wanted to
experience,
make-
you'd be able to make that
Okay, I
distinction.
saw that where it said equivalent combination of education and experience, because then because education is still in there, and they might not really have any education to have the equivalent combination of, and, I don't know. There just might be someone that comes down the pike that's just really a great person that doesn't have any education in that area, but she's done it for 20 years, so that was just my concern.
okay. Mr. Crawford, you had something?
Well, I was just gonna try to address Mrs. Stacy's concern. You've got to put all of those parameters in there to try to make sure that you're hopefully attracting the best that we can. But I agree with you. I think somebody who has been in the trenches for 15, 20 years doing that job probably could very well do the same job for us and whoever we hire for the position. So, yeah, we've got the room to dance.
Okay.
Okay, one of the things I just wanted to share with you, now, we are looking at a highly qualified person that will be leading us through this process, and we'll be talking about that in a shortly. So some of the things that Doug addressed, we will have an opportunity just to hear what direction we are going, because once again, we will get some people that have been down this road before, and it will help us in this process. So this is where we are. I call the question All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to adopt the 2014-2015 Code of Student Conduct? May I have a motion and a second?
Second.
It was moved by Mr. Crawford, second by Mrs. Boynton. Mr. Superintendent.
Mr. Chairman, the Code of Student Conduct is updated annually as required by Florida Statute 1006.07 and includes committee and board member recommendations as discussed at 2 work sessions, February 6th and April 4th.
I declare a public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to address the 2014-2015 Code of Student Conduct?
Ms. Nancy Noonan?
Thank you, Mr. James. Superintendent Tomlin, members of the board. I just wanted to very personally say to you that I was pleased. Oh, my name is Nancy Noonan. I live at 12220 Southeast 178th Street, Summerfield, Florida. I was very pleased to be a part of the District Review Committee as a community representative. And to repeat some of what Superintendent Tomlin said, we did have two committee work sessions with 43 participants, various subcommittees discussing the important topics, and there were 2 board work sessions to review the recommendations as well. We believe that we were transparent to all and did incorporate the addition on the authority of the teacher recommended by Mr. Chris Altabello, president of the MEA, and have created a code once approved by the Marion County School Board that will serve as the guidelines to be understood by students and parents, and it also clearly stipulates the responsibility of the district to achieve goals of reducing suspensions and expulsions and eventually eliminating arrests for nonviolent misdemeanors. We know and expect that there should be flexibility in evaluating each student's situation, but with the guidance of this code, we also want to work to continue the excellent work of the law enforcement of OPD and the Sheriff's Office in supporting and coordinating with school administration to support these goals. Our community can be proud of the work done so far on the code and can be assured that there will be possibly additional suggestions from a review committee next year regarding those things that can be presented to the board for their consideration and final adoption. The revised code before you tonight for final adoption is for the 2014-2015 school year. I'd like to also insert a comment, which I apologize did not put in your written, but it will be recorded, obviously. I want to personally thank Mark Vianello, Dr. Dama Absher, and Shamika Murphy for their leadership in guiding our discussions as a review committee. I look forward to a continuing working relationship with Mark Vianello and the district for other important matters regarding juvenile justice in Marion County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Board, any comment?
I have one comment. I'd just like to say I want to thank the board, and thank you, Ms. Noonan. Thank the board because we really, really put some work into this and with everybody's opinion, and we came together, you know, in agreement on a lot of different things. And I appreciate working on this code of conduct with this board. We really did some good work together. And also, thank you, Mr. Villanella and Dr. Absher and Shamika. Thank you for all the hard work you did to make sure that it came together, along with the committee that was with you. Thank you.
Okay, when I think in terms of the student code of conduct, I'd just like to remind people that the code of conduct and how it is administered at your school usually set the tone of what is occurring at your school. I know I sat in on the meetings, and again, it's one of those things where you know, along with the master schedule, and most of you, if you know what the master schedule is, that's the lifeblood of your curriculum. your student conduct, your student code of conduct is one of the key things that you want to have on your school campus, and it being enforced and fairly. Once again, good job. I call the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
We're not gonna have any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you.
Discussion, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you. Board members, I've thought a lot about this. We've looked at this thing for a year now. I did not make my decision on this until this weekend. I've given Mrs. Fluckheader a motion. I'm now offering an amendment to the Code of Conduct. And I'm asking that on page 26, the Student Code of Conduct, Level 1 Disciplinary Response Code, Level 1 Correction Action, that we delete the term corporal punishment, elementary only. On page 27 of the Code of Student Conduct, Level 2 Disciplinary Response Code, Level 2 Corrective Action, we delete the term corporal punishment, elementary only. On page 30 of the Code of Student Conduct, Section 6, procedures relating to disciplinary action, that we delete the title corporate punishment and the section listed below.
I second his motion.
Okay, there's a second on the motion. Any discussion on
Yes, I'd like to discuss. We brought this up last year, and corporal punishment was approved 3-2. I believe that needs to stay in for 3 years before we make a change to take it out. And I think we've worked long and hard on this Code of Student Conduct. I think it needs to stay in.
Ms. Stacy?
I'll agree with Mrs. Ely. We haven't really given the principals an opportunity really to use this in their toolbox. We talk here about toolboxes, and they've not really even had an opportunity to use it. And I would like to leave it in for now.
Okay. Any more discussion, Mr. Crawford?
Well, you know, we can talk about 3 years. I have never seen the response against an action of the board in all the years that I've been here as I have seen this. Over the year, I've had 0 people who have come up to me and said, yes, you all did the right thing. And yet I have repeatedly been stopped in grocery stores and malls and every other place and said, what were you thinking? I mean, that's just probably the nice way of putting it. And it's not working. It's not going to be enforced in this school. I think, or in our schools, I think one of the reasons it's not being is wrong, because to me, when the board passes a policy, that is the law of the school district, and nobody can say no. The board actually can do something about that. There is a statute that we can enforce the will of the board. The problem is, to do that, we have only 2 channels that we can take. We can either pass a resolution and refer the matter to the state attorney for enforcement, or B, we can pass a resolution and engage in a lawsuit against the superintendent if he is not enforcing that. I don't think we even want to go down either one of those, but there is a statute that will provide for that. It's just not working. Like I said, I've had no one who said, yes, you did right, and I've had where I've lost count of the people that said you did wrong.
And Mr. Crawford, I've gotten information from parents who said the exact opposite. They're very supportive. They're happy that that's one of the tools in our toolbox that we can use in lieu of out-of-school suspension, where I've told you before, when students are suspended, if the parents can't transport them to a PASS program on another campus, the elementary children are left in the neighborhoods by themselves to run around, get in trouble, break the law. And this has worked in the past. I want to repeat myself, parents have thanked me again and again. So have teachers, by the way, thanked me again and again for putting it back in.
Well, they haven't bothered to contact me, so I have to go on the information and the responses that I've got.
Okay. Any more discussion? Mr. Boynton?
I'd just like to say, Mr. Crawford, you know, I understand what you mean about how the parents and not just parents, just members of our community. Every day I get an email regarding corporal punishment. Even today, I got an email about it. And I was not aware that you were going to bring this up, and I'm extremely happy because as I had some statistic data research from you earlier today by Mr. Villanello, and I can share with you some of the things that were a concern to a lot of the parents and in the community. This is from the 9-10 data. We had an overrepresentation of African-American students who were paddled. 40% of all paddled compared to the district average of 19%. I think that's something that we really, really had to address. And I think this one, we had an overrepresentation of ESE students who were paddled. 37% of all paddled compared to the district average of 17%. That's a lot. And I really think that we were moving in the right direction and continually moving in the right direction with our positive behavior program. And I think that is such a success that we need to move in that direction. I think children behave best with positive behavior. Negative reinforcement sometimes doesn't give us the best results. I mean, I do believe that parents have the right, if they want, to paddle their children in their own homes. But I think the school district, we have the responsibility of being physical sound with the taxpayers' money. And at any point, we could get a lawsuit. I remember when this board did pass that, the next day, I was very outraged that we had a hearing, and there was a teacher who was already, came before us with paddling, and I just was outraged. But I'm pleased to hear this tonight from you, Mr. Crawford. I think that you understood, and I know that you know the damage it could do to the district financially.
Ms. Boynton, let me remind you, last year, I believe Mr. Crawford was the one that wanted it put in writing that we were allowed to administer corporal punishment with the parents' written consent beforehand.
Well,
we did put that in.
Okay.
I didn't vote for it, but I did have you all put that in, as well as that it shouldn't be every parent has to respond to it. But, I mean,
Okay.
thank you.
Let me go to Ms. Stacy.
I just pulled up on the Florida Department of Education website. The decline in corporal punishment has, in 1991, there were 24,000 students paddled in the state of Florida, according to this on the Department of Education website under corporal punishment versus in-school and out-of-school suspension. And there were 307,000 in-school and out-of-school suspensions, incidents of corporal suspensions, yeah. If you look at where the paddling has only dropped by 20,000 students from 1991 to 2006-07, but yet school suspensions have increased 200,000 students. It was not necessarily the corporal punishment, but possibly the fear of that happening and that one issue that was in the toolbox that the students knew. So the decline of corporal punishment from 1991 to 2006, it went from 24,000 students to 5,000 students, just a 20,000 decline. But as that declined, student behavior increased, bad student behavior. Evidently, the positive behavior wasn't working because the incidence of paddling dropped 20,000, but the incidence of students being suspended went up 200,000. I just wonder how many of those 200,000 students we lost as the corporal punishment tool was removed from the elementary principals' toolboxes.
Okay.
And this is right off the Florida Department of Education website.
Thank you. Any other comment? Okay. Let me just share this with you now. As a person that have gone from the teacher to the dean's office to hear. It's an interesting process. And I will tell you again, I believe we took a step back when we added corporal punishment in this. And I think one of the things that I will say to you again, we need to really look at what we are doing. And I think, again, Mr. Crawford does that's an excellent job of really looking and listening to what people are saying to you. That's one of the things I would like to just share with you. Now, I would like to call for a vote on Mr. Crawford's amendment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Brenda, you have it? The motion passed 3-2. May I have a motion to vote on the amendment, the motion as amended?
You don't need a motion for that.
Okay.
You voted on that?
Okay, we will vote on the motion as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It's still not up there yet.
I know it is.
Okay. I said you've already voted.
Mrs. E, I need your vote.
It said she'd already voted and she tried to vote.
Try again.
Exit, hit the red X and then come back in. Because I think you haven't gotten cycled out of the previous vote.
Which one? Main agenda. I got that.
Now
Just hit the main agenda.
let me try this. Try this.
Yep.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passed 3-2. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted? May I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Boynton, second by Mr. Crawford. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
What number is that?
Brenda, we got that?
Mrs. Eagley, I know, I'm getting, she's having an issue.
Shoot, what did I do? Just go back to the.
Would you like for me to vote for you?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Affirmative?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passed 5-0. May I have a motion to approve the following donation? $15,559.27 to Marion County Public School Homeless Needy Children Program from Community Bank and Trust of Florida. A 1994 Ford van valued at $2,000 to Marion Technical Institute from Terrence and Claudette Bowridge. $3,250 to South Ocala Elementary School from the South Ocala Elementary PTO. $1,700 to Stan Wesdale Elementary School from Wesdale Presbyterian Church. $7,780.40 to Sunrise Elementary School from General Mills. $1,500 to Vanguard High School from their business partner, Quailcomm Incorporated via the Public Education Foundation. May I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
It was moved by Ms. Warrington, second by Ms. Ely. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Mr. Crawford, would you thank our public force tonight?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As many times as I've done this, I can't say it enough, the fact that the support for public education in this county just continues to amaze me and please me. What you've seen here tonight is people taking money out of their pockets and trying to do something good for our children. So on behalf of the board, I say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Meeting and reminders. The next administrative briefing and work session is scheduled for Thursday, May 8th, 2014 at 9 a.m. The purpose of the work session is an annual review of the 2014-2015 health insurance presentation on the community culture art plan, NEA grant, and the hiring process for an in-house legal staff. And an employment termination hearing is scheduled for 9 o'clock on May 9th, 2014. Board concerns. Mr. Crawford? Have none. Ms. Stacy?
Well, I guess I would like to say it's been a really interesting week. I have found a lot of great information out that I will be sharing with the superintendent. I have found some things that concern me. Teachers have shared some things that really did concern me a lot, but I will speak with Mr. Tomlin about that behind closed doors. The teachers' comments that I have received make me believe that we may just be getting on our train on the right track. I believe the train of education for the last, I don't know, since the late 1960s, late 1950s, has been really on a very dirt track. But I think with the teachers' help, we can get the train on a real track, going in the right direction. And I look forward to sharing the things that I have found out, and would love to have an open forum of some kind where, you know, we could just really have some type of a meeting where we could all get together and we could all, talk openly about some of the changes that we could do. Up until now, it seems like the education train has been loaded up with consultants in search of job descriptions. People pushing for more ESE titles of students to bring us more money, which seems like what ultimately happens is sometimes it gives children excuses for failure. When they have so many titles of things that they can't accomplish, and we lower the bar for some students where possibly we should be raising the bar instead. But I guess that's pretty much what I had to say. I wrote down some things that some of the teachers had told me about, and I just want to thank everyone. And I do want to also briefly discuss the socioeconomic situation that we are linking our education issues to the low socioeconomic situation of our community. Sometimes I wonder what came first, the chicken or the egg. Is our area a low socioeconomic area because our public education system has not been meeting the needs of this community, where possibly we need more vocational education training for students who are not college bound? I know Mr. Vianello is passionate in that area, and I know Mr. Crawford, you helped to lead to get the Marion Technical Institute here so that we could start to meet some of the needs of the children that are not college bound. And I hope that through all of the research that I'm doing with all my letters and that I share with Mr. Tomlin, that we can move towards more vocational education training in Marion County, because we're gonna remain a very, very low-paying area as long as we don't have our students trained to do the jobs that we need in our area. And so, thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for hearing my heart.
Ms. Ely.
I just wanted to commend all of our elementary music teachers on the incredible job you did at the All-County Honor Choir event at Westport. It was amazing. What surprised me more than anything was our music teachers are sharing 2 elementary schools. Each teacher has 2 elementary schools, and they were able to teach all of these songs to the children at their respective schools, and the only day they had to practice was that early dismissal day, the day of the choir event, and I couldn't believe that they'd only practiced one afternoon. But tremendous job, and music teachers, you're to be commended highly, and I keep on going. I'm very proud of you. The other thing I wanted to mention was National Appreciation Day. I believe I said this last year too. And students, parents, you don't need to buy your teacher something, but if you could send them a nice card or nice letter, not just your homeroom teacher, but your other teachers, all of your teachers, just tell them how much you appreciate them. Maybe the little things that they've done for you this year. You want to mention that in a letter. I still have some of my letters as a teacher that really were very meaningful, and I wanted to keep them close to my heart. But teachers, we salute you, and May 6th is your day. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Morris? Ms. Brenda?
No, sir.
Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A few comments here. Tonight, during the consent agenda, I just want to make sure the public understands this completely, that you did approve of a summer school allocation for this summer. We mentioned that last year we might have to cut summer school. Although it's a smaller summer school, I'm proud to say that we are meeting some of our requirements there. We do have state-required elementary retention programs. We'll be having middle school and high school unit and credit recovery, and also high school end-of-course exam algebra course taught, high school driver education, and elementary ESE and VPK. So even though it's watered down a little bit, we are still meeting our requirements there. This is the second week of FCAT, as you know. You know that this year many of our assessments are being completed on computer. And today, Marion County and many other districts in the state did suffer some technology challenges and some technology issues. Fewer students were able to complete the testing as we had hoped would complete this, and this again is a statewide issue. There was quite a bit of frustration on the part of not only students but testing coordinators and teachers who were passing or were administering those tests. The state has told us we do have makeup time available. DOE will extend makeup time if we needed that, so you might encounter some community members wondering what's going on. Our district, it's not a problem with our district, it's not a problem with our technology, hardware or software. It is a more extensive problem with the provider that works with DOE. We'll know tomorrow morning, more 7 or 7:30 in the morning, whether we can continue or if we have to limit our testing tomorrow. And this, of course, as you know, is very, very important. Another item that I want to share with you that our administrative staff is working with the health department in exploring, and I'll use our word exploring, the possibility of offering flu vaccines on our school campuses next year, of course, with parent permission. We haven't gone much farther than the discussion stages right now, but we do know that districts that do cooperate with health departments and do offer that opportunity for flu vaccines to be administered not only to students but families on the school sites, we know that their attendance is vastly improved. So we're exploring that, and I'll keep you apprised of that as we proceed with that. And then finally, the last thing I want to say is a hats off to our teachers. We've recognized them tonight. But I wanted to share with you also that the Department of Education hosts and encourages teachers to submit appropriate lesson plans to a sharing site called CPALMS. That's C-P-A-L-M-S. And yes, I'll tell you what it means. It means collaborate, plan, align, learn, motivate, and share. And we've had a number of our teachers submit outstanding lessons to CPALMS that are now shared with other teachers throughout the state, and I'm very proud of them. They get a little stipend for doing that also, so there's that incentive, but we have a lot of teachers contributing to that very, very important site. Just wanted to share that with you tonight. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Now, I need to go to my esteemed colleague that I skipped right past, and she gave me the eye. Ms. Boynton.
I only have a couple announcements, and just from one of our meetings, I'm sure you remember when the children came in and showed us their art. Well, it's going to be at the Appleton Museum on Saturday, April 26th. The exhibit starts, and it's from our students from kindergarten to grade 12. It starts at 10:30 to noon, and the exhibit will run through Sunday, May 18th. And then I received an email, and I know you went to the all-county music, and that was my first year actually missing it, and I was so hurt to have missed it. But I was also impressed to learn that one of our teachers, impressed to learn and sad to learn that one, yeah, Mrs. Melissa Bumbach, she was accepted at on a full scholarship to the University of Miami's Frost School of Music. And that's an honor for her, and I just want to congratulate her. And, you know, I'm just really excited about that for her, and also sad. And there was another one, we received the email on one of our former superintendents, Robert McDunwoody. The city of Ocala is going to be having a Arbor Day tree dedication ceremony in Tuscarora Park, and that's on this Friday at 10:30, just to let everyone know. Thank you.
Some notes, just some things I'd just like to share with you as chair. This part of the year is really a shaky part. And I just would like to remind all of us as we begin to close down our school year, what we say and how we say it is so important. I think, and I have to give Clyde Folsom this. He was my principal, and I loved him for it. And I know some of you will say, Clyde Folsom, I haven't heard that name in a long time. But Clyde Folsom always say, it's more important to know what not to do than what to do. What not to say, rather than what to say. And I just would like to remind all of us as we work in that, wisdom is a good thing. And I just would like to remind all of you of some of the things that I've learned over the years. And this is what my little talk about tonight. As we get ready to bring this school year to a close, the school system have a mechanism to handle just about all the issues that we will deal with. And I would love for us to use that, because it's important that we bring down a smooth school year, get a chance to regroup, and then we can address any of the issues that we may have. So again, I want to say this to the teachers: a job well done. We're doing a good job. Sure, we have some differences, but we'll all get there. And this is what I'd like to just say as board chair: we will all get there. Thank you in reference to that. Now, before addressing expulsion matters, I wish to acknowledge already did that. Okay. Before addressing expulsion matters, I wish to acknowledge that the board members have received the alternative placement list for students to April 14, 2014. Are there any parents in the audience who wish to speak on behalf of a student regarding a disciplinary matter? Seeing none. May I have a motion to approve the expulsion of student JD 14-87E with educational services through the 2014-2015 school year? May I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
It was moved by Ms. Boynton, second by Mrs. Ely. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. The chair recognizes. Mrs. Ely?
Okay.
Motion passed 5-0. The chair will recognize the board attorney, Ms. Beverly Barnes.
Board members, On behalf of Attorney Susan Siegel with the law firm of Dell Graham, I'm notifying you that advice is needed regarding the pending litigation styled City of Ocala versus School Board of Marion County. At the request of Superintendent Tomlin, advice is also needed on the newly pending lawsuit styled Carolyn Torrey versus William Halden, Mark Herdman, and Beverly Morris to discuss strategy related to this matter. Pursuant to Section 286.011, Florida statutes, I have requested a session with the board for the sole purpose of discussing settlement negotiations and strategy. I have asked the board secretary to cause reasonable public notice of the time and date of this session and the names of the persons attending to be published. As required by statute, only the superintendent of schools or his designee, board members, and legal counsel can be present. I have asked a court reporter who came in right on cue to record the session, as is also required by statute. Her notes will be fully transcribed and filed with Brenda Flocketter as clerk of the school board. Upon the conclusion of the litigation, the transcript is, of course, made public record.
Okay. We acknowledge your request. The term appeared to be in compliance with Florida statute. Board member, you have heard our attorney's request. As chair, I announce an attorney-client session. The statutes state that I also must announce the commencement of this session, the estimated length of the session, and the names of the people attending. This session will commence as soon as the room is cleared, and the court reporter is set up following a 5-minute recess to clear the room. It will last approximately 1 hour. The names of the person attending are Angie Boynton, Ron Crawford, Carol Ely, Bobby James, Nancy Stacy, Superintendent George Tomlin, Attorney Susan Siegel, and Attorney Beverly Morris. I declare a brief recess to follow by an attorney-client session. The recess is at 7:12.